So it's wonderful to be with all of you this evening, and people, satsangis like you, who have set aside 1.5 hours today in order to delve into spiritual truths. I really offer my pranams to each one of you who value self-knowledge so much. And it's wonderful for me to be with all of you. So I have a presentation also, which will provide shlokas and some graphics, etc. So let me share that with you as well. So as I thank Vasu for his very heartwarming introduction, and let us offer our pranams to Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. We are just taking up one shloka, the 19th shloka of Sat Darshanam, or 40 verses on reality. And before we start, I would like to offer my gratitude and my pranams to my source of inspiration, of course, Sri Ramana, Sri Narasimha Prabhuji, who is guiding me on the path of Atma Vichara, Sri Shankara, who has given us abundant wisdom on the path of Advaita Vedanta. So let us chant Asatoma Sadgamaya and Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu together with our mic on mute. Oh, Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Let us offer our pranams to all the divine masters of wisdom. May their grace and blessings be with us always and establish us in the self. So this is a story or an incident recorded in the chronicles of Ramanashram. We always think things happen to us in life. We react to these things or we respond to these things in our own ways. We act based on how we feel about it and how the external situation is. So this was also a kind of, you can say, remote interaction, because there was a elementary school teacher, government school teacher, who had, we don't think he had come to the ashram for Bhagwan's darshan or anything. But a lot of people would write letters, they would correspond, they would send prayers, they would send pleas, they would send gratitude, they would ask questions. And all this would come by post. And Bhagwan would dictate his reply, and the reply would go back to the person who wrote. So this was a system which was working in the Ramanashram in those days. So one day a card came, our traditional postcard. So that came to the ashram addressed to Bhagwan. And this primary school teacher, he said, he had written in that, Bhagwan, I have an old mother who is living with me, and I'm not able to take proper care of her because I don't have enough money. I'm working in a school, but I need a salary raise if I have to take care of her really well. So please make sure that I get a salary raise. Look at that prayer, that request. So Bhagwan listened, and there was a smile on his face, and he said, well, why not? And later they got another postcard, from the teacher that said, Bhagwan, thank you for your blessings. I got a good salary raise. Now I'm able to take care of my mother much better. But I have heard that there is a position in a higher class. So if I can get that position, it will be a promotion for me. So with your grace, may I get that promotion? So Bhagwan again smiled and said, why not? And another letter arrived after some time. So here the primary school teacher said, Bhagwan, I got the promotion also. I got the raise also. But my old mother, she's not doing very well. She's a bit sick. And I have to go to work. So who is going to take care of my mother? So I need to get married. I need a wife. But I earn so less. Who will give me a wife? And if a marriage is fixed, how will I meet the expenses? Bhagwan may please provide. So now Bhagwan has to provide a wife also, and expenditure money also for it. So Bhagwan again smiled and said, why not? So after a while, you guessed it, another letter came to the ashram. And he said, Bhagwan, I got married. In fact, my wife is with me right now. She's taking good care of my mother. But Bhagwan, my mother wants to see a grandchild before she passes away. So Bhagwan may please provide a grandchild for my mother. So Bhagwan just smiled and he raised his Abhaya Hasta. And after a while, another postcard came. And then here the teacher said, Bhagwan, my child is born and my wife has no milk. So I cannot afford to buy milk for the child, Bhagwan. I need another promotion. Please provide. Bhagwan said, why not? And after a while, we hear again from the teacher. And he said, Bhagwan, the child is doing very well. Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me. And then after some time, another letter came and he said, Bhagwan, my mother passed away. And at the time of passing away, she remembered you, Bhagwan, with gratitude. Bhagwan said, I'm sorry to hear that, but it's all right. Then another letter came after some time. Bhagwan, my child died. I just wanted to let you know. And then once again he wrote, saying, my wife is pregnant again, Bhagwan. And one more letter came Bhagwan, my wife delivered a baby, but both the baby and my wife passed away during the childbirth itself. Then one final letter came to Bhagwan which said, Bhagwan, I lost my job. So what happened? We see a whole cycle, maybe in a span of a couple of years. School teacher didn't have enough earning, he got promotion. His mother was sick, so he got married, he had a child, the child died, one more child, wife and child both died, his mother passed away, he lost his job. So life is like that. Life will keep changing. What you get, you also lose. What you don't have today, you may get tomorrow. So after reading that last postcard, which said, Bhagwan, I lost my job, Bhagwan said, very sorry to hear all those things that are happening to you. But finally, see, whatever comes, it will go. Only the self is with him still, Bhagwan said. The school teacher has lost everything that came, but his self is always with him. He is the Atma, even now. So this is the journey of karma, to take us to self-knowledge, to take us, to give us an understanding of our true nature. That is the goal of karma. Now, normally it is good to take a shloka in context. And this 17th and 18th shloka we had also dealt with last month from Sat Darshanam. So just a brief glimpse, what does this shloka say? The title of the previous talk is When the Wise and the Fool Think Alike. Right? Under that talk we had studied these two shlokas. So here Bhagwan is saying in the 17th and 18th shloka, for both the Jnani and the Ajnani, the body is the self. For the Ajnani, he thinks the body is me. Body means all the Panchakoshas together. Body, mind, intellect together. Bhagwan thinks that complex, body-mind complex is me. The Ajnani thinks that the body-mind complex is me. But the Jnani, because he is abiding as the self, and for him, everything is an expression of the self, he knows that the body is also an expression of the self. Right? Both the Jnani and Ajnani think that the world is real. The Ajnani thinks the world is the only thing that exists. Whatever happens in the world, that will make me either happy or unhappy, just like the school teacher. But the Ajnani knows that the world is real in the sense of the world is an expression of the self. It is a manifestation of the self. So that is why he thinks that in that sense the world is real. Though it is an appearance in the self, it is still made up of the self, expression of the self itself. So in this context, now the 19th shloka comes. Let us lead and follow in chanting the shloka. विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च कोऽपि वादः विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च कोऽपि वादः तयोर्द्वयो मूलमजानतां स्यात् तयोर्द्वयो मूलमजानतां स्यात् विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च मूलवस्तु विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च मूलवस्तु सञ्जानतां नैव विधिर्नयत्नः सञ्जानतां नैव विधिर्नयत्नः. So here Bhagwan is saying Vidhehe. Vidhehe is fate or destiny. prayatnasya. Prayatna is self-will or free will. So this is an age-old argument. It is an age-old debate. Is fate more powerful? Is destiny more powerful? Or is free will more powerful? Vadaha. This argument, this debate goes on endlessly. For whom? Tayoho dvayoho moolam ajanatam syat. The one who does not know the moolam or the source of these two, tayoho dvayoho, this pair of dualities. For one who ajanatam, who does not know the source, for him, this is an endless debate. It is a source of great curiosity, very intriguing. Is free will more powerful or is destiny more powerful? Videhe prayatnasya cha moola vastu, for one who understands the source of both destiny and free will, then sanjanatam naiva vidhirnayatnaha. For him, neither destiny nor free will prevail. Right? So we'll go into this in a little more detail. As Vasu was saying when he introduced the topic, there are two people who have the shloka we just chanted was a Sanskrit rendering by Sri Ganapati Muni, Kavya Kanta Ganapati Muni, a great disciple of Ramana Maharshi. So he has, this is the translation of that shloka. The controversy of whether fate is stronger than free will or vice versa is only for those who do not know the common source of these two. To those who know the source of both, neither destiny nor free will exist. Right? And Sri Lakshman Sharma has also translated Sat Darshanam, Ulladu Narpadu. In Tamil, he translated that as Sat Darshanam into Sanskrit, and this English translation is also by him. He was a disciple who lived in the ashram with Sri Ramana Maharshi. So he says, only those who have no experience of the truth of him named I, that is the self, who is the root of fate and free will, love to dispute about which of these will prevail. Can the sage who has become free of both, knowing the truth of the ego by the quest, ever again become entangled in these, like the one who does not know the self? So what is the quest that Lakshman Sharma is talking about here? The quest is asking, who am I? Who wants to know whether free will is more powerful or fate is more powerful? So it is I. Then who am I? So if I ask that question, who am I, which is the great quest given to us by Bhagwan, whatever thought comes into the mind, we are just going to ask, who am I? So for a minute, let us close our eyes. Allow the mind to be. If a thought arises in your mind at this time, just ask, for whom is this thought? The answer is, it is for me. Who am I? We are not looking for verbal answers. I am Satchitananda, I am the Atma, I am consciousness. No. We're just asking with some intensity, who am I? Who is this I to whom this thought is coming? Who am I? The mind is quiet. That silence is the answer to the question. Allow the silence to be there. If another thought arises in the meanwhile, once again ask, for whom is this thought? It is for me. Who am I? Once again, the mind slips into silence. And we abide in the silence. So this is how we do the quest. We ask the question, who am I? The mind is silent. And we stay there. If another thought comes, we ask again. Otherwise, we rest in the silence, the state of being. So one who has followed this quest till he has become established in the self. That means instead of thinking that I am the body, mind, and intellect, when my mind is happy, I am happy. When my mind is sad, I am sad. When my body is sick, I am depressed. When my body is healthy, I feel happy. That's because I'm always thinking I am the body, mind, and intellect. But by asking who am I, like this repeatedly, and just being silent when the mind falls quiet, then finally the seeker is established in the self, where there is total identity only with the Atma, the eternal, infinite self. And though the body and mind and intellect continue to exist, the Jnani never ever again thinks that he is the body, mind, and intellect. He will use it to bring about good things for the world, to spread his own wisdom, but he never again identifies with the body, mind, and intellect. So, for such a person, where is free will or destiny? He has gone beyond these. He has gone to the source of both. This is what Bhagavan is telling us in Shloka 19. So I was reading the Shloka and I remembered a story. Okay. So in the story, there is a temple. There is a temple of Lord Krishna. So temple of Lord Krishna is there. And then in this temple, there is a sweeper. We see a picture there, right? He's sweeping the steps of the temple. He's a great devotee of the Lord. And every day while sweeping the steps of the temple, he keeps thinking, look at my Lord, look at my Kanaya. You know, how he stands. He's standing on one foot and the other foot is not taking any weight at all. So one foot must be getting so tired. And he's continuously holding his flute like that. And he can't move. He has to be just so still. Even in sleep, we move, right? But Kanaya is standing there without moving, with his hands like this, with his feet crossed like that. And he's been standing there for ages and ages. How tired he must be. I wish I could give him some rest. I wish I could give him a break. Does this thought come to any of us? No, right? But it came to the sweeper. So one day he could not tolerate it anymore. So he went and he stood in front of the deity and he said, Bhagwan, you must be so tired, Bhagwan. No, why don't I give you a break? Go, just have one cup of chai or coffee or just walk around, take a half a day off and then come back. So Lord Krishna spoke to him. He had so much intensity of devotion and he was feeling this so deeply. So he said, my friend, don't worry about it. This is not difficult for me. No, I will continue to stand here. No. Half a day you must take. Half a day's break. Again, you will stand for decades, for centuries like this. Let me do that much. I can't do anything else for you. So finally, he persuaded Lord Krishna. And Krishna said, yes, I can give you, if you stand in my place. Through my grace, you will look like me, as though the deity is still standing there. You can stand there, but based on certain conditions, you have to agree to those conditions. What, my lord? Krishna said, see, when you're standing here, many people may come and pray. You cannot move. 1. 2. You will not talk. No matter what you feel inside, you should not talk. If you can stand like that without talking, just witnessing. No matter what they say, no matter what happens in the temple in front of you, you should stand like me, as though you're made of stone. No movement, no talking. Can you do that? The sweeper said, yes, I'll do that. So Lord Krishna came out of the sanctum sanctorum. The sweeper went in and stood. And to all people who came, it still looked as though the same deity is there. That is the grace of the Lord. So first, a very, very rich man came. He had a big bag of money with him. He wanted to put that in the hundi, a percentage of his profit he had brought. So he stood in front of the deity and he said, oh my Lord, I am so grateful to you. You have given me a very, very good profit this time, a big, hefty profit. So I want to offer a percentage of that to you. Please continue to shower upon me your grace in the form of bigger and bigger profits, and I will continue to put some of it in your hundi. So he had kept the bag of money there near the wall. When he walked up closer to the deity with his hands folded, he prayed to the deity, and then he forgot about putting the money in the hundi and he walked out of the temple. Okay, so the bag is still there in the temple and the rich man has walked out of the temple. Remember, the sweeper is standing there. He wants to call out to the rich man, "Arey, that bag is still there, put it in the hundi." But he remembers, oh, I am not supposed to talk. I am not supposed to move. He stands. Then a beggar comes into the temple. And the beggar is a very nice man. Yes, he is very poor. He begs for his food. But if he gets any money, he's always been sharing it with all his other fellow beggars on the street. So he comes and he's praying to the Lord, oh my Lord, nobody has been giving me alms over the past few days. I'm so hungry. All the beggars on my street are so hungry. I wish I had even a little bit so I could share it with them also. Please bless me, my Lord. And he prays and he turns around and he sees there is a big bag of money there. He said, my Lord, I never expected you to bless me so quickly. Thank you so much. You have given me so much money. I can take care of so many of my all the beggars on my street with this. I will go and help everybody. So he snatches up the bag and he runs out of the temple. Now, really the sweeper wants to shout, hey, thief, come back, don't take that. It belongs to the rich man and it should go into the hundi. Don't. He grits his teeth and he stands. No talking, right? Then a sailor comes. His ship has come in and it's going to sail again the next day. Before that, he wants to seek the blessings of Lord Krishna. So he says, Bhagwan, keep me safe during the voyage. Please let all the people on my ship be safe. Let us go complete our voyage and come back with plenty of things, plenty of riches.
So he's praying, and at that time, the rich man suddenly remembers, "Ararare, I didn't put the money into the hundi at all." So he rushes back into the temple and he looks around, but the bag of money is gone. So he calls the security and then he calls the police. So police come and the watchman, remember, he's standing there and watching everything without talking. The police come and then they say, "The sailor is here. He must have done something with the money. You came just 5 minutes back, right, sir? Then it must be this guy only. Let's arrest him and take him." So they take out handcuffs and they put handcuffs on the sailor. Now the watchman, the sweeper, is unable to keep quiet. He remembers Lord Krishna told him, "Don't talk, at any cost, don't talk. Whatever happens, don't talk." But now he says, "No, no, 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 no. He is not the thief. Don't arrest him." Everybody, where is that voice coming? Who is talking? "I am God. Don't arrest that sailor. He didn't do anything. A beggar came and took the money and went away. Go outside immediately. He must be somewhere there. Go and arrest him." So the police rush away to arrest the beggar. They let the sailor go. 5 minutes later, Lord Krishna comes back. He has had a nice walk around. He is ready to stand. And he says, "Okay, thank you so much for giving me a break. Now come, let me stand." And he stands there. And then, "Before you go, tell me what happened here. You didn't talk, right? You didn't do anything, right?" He said, "No, no, no, no. I kept quiet with so much difficulty, Kanaya, but all this happened. So in the end, I could not let the wrong person get arrested. So I did all this." Krishna says, "But how is it fair? I had to do it, right?" Krishna says, "You don't know. You don't know what is behind each one of these things. My grace was making this happen. Now this politician, this rich man, he's going on earning more and more money, taking bribes, earning money, taking bribes, earning money. He does nothing for the poor. But this beggar was a good man. He would have done a lot of good things with that money. He would have helped many, many people. And a part of that punya, that merit would have gone to the politician also. And so many people would have got help. But what about the sailor?" The sweeper said. So Krishna said, "Yes, you know what? That sailor's ship is going to sink. I know that. So that is why I wanted the sailor to be in jail for 3 days. By then it would have been proved that he has not taken the money. They would have let him out. But his ship would have sailed. So he would not have died when the ship sunk in the middle of the ocean. There is a divine plan behind everything. If you had only been witnessing instead of interfering, then all this would have happened just as I wanted it to happen, as I wanted all of them to be blessed with my grace." So this is the trick. Can we witness? Can we witness instead of reacting? The sweeper meant well, but his window of perception was very small, right? He could not see. He could not get the big picture. So in our life also, the window through which we are looking at life is very small. We don't see the past lives. We don't see what will happen in the future. We are only seeing what is happening right now, and we keep reacting, which may not always be the best thing to do, right? So the same thing is told to us in the Bhagavad Gita also. 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Svabhavajena kaunteya nibaddhasvena karmana kartum nechasi yanmahat karishyasi avishopitat." So he's saying, "Arjuna, Swabhava Jena. Yes, you know that some action is not good for you to do. In fact, it is said that among the Kauravas, Duryodhana, he once told Krishna, Krishna, I know what is dharma, I know what is adharma. My intellect tells me this is dharmic and this is adharmic. And yet, I continue to take the adharmic course because my vasanas drive me towards that. So the same thing now Krishna is saying. You know that something should not be done. It is being born out of delusion. It is a projection of Maya. You don't wish to do it. Yet your vasanas will drive you to do that very thing, to choose that very action. Because of the three gunas in your nature, the proportion of these guna, rajoguna, tamoguna, sattva the kind of vasanas that you have. If I have vasanas that make me lazy, tamoguna is more, then I know that I should meditate every day. I know that I should get up early in the morning to make time for that, or sometime in the day I should make time for that. But still, if the laziness component in me, that vasana is much stronger, then I will say, today I meditated, okay, tomorrow I get up, no, today I'll do something else, I don't have time. Or who is going to get up? No, I'm so sleepy, let me sleep for a little bit more and then, tomorrow I'll. I know that it is good for me to meditate. I know that it is good for me to do sadhana, but I am driven by my vasana package, by the three gunas, the proportion of the three gunas within me. And I still do that which I should not do. That is what Krishna is saying in this shloka. Then in the next shloka, Krishna says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishthate brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord, that means the Self, dwells in the hearts of all living beings. Beginning also we said, between the Jnani and Ajnani, there is one difference. The Jnani all the time knows that every single thing in this world is a manifestation of the Self alone. So the Self dwells in the hearts of all living beings. That's what Krishna is reminding Arjuna. Yet, according to their karmas, he directs the wanderings of the souls who are seated on a Maya machine. Look at the terminology that Lord Krishna is using, just like a motorbike or something. So this body is like a Maya machine. Seated in this, the Lord is there. But still, as long as we keep identifying with the body, mind, and intellect, I keep thinking, I am the body. Therefore, whatever happens to the body is happening to me. Every thought that is coming in my mind, that is me. All my emotions, that is me. Whether I am confused or clear, that is also me. Every decision that I make, I am making. So, when we think in this way, then even though the Self is there, the Self is powering all the instruments or the body, mind, and intellect, still a karmic script will decide how our life unfolds. According to their karmas, he directs the wanderings of the souls who are seated on a Maya machine, who think that they are the body. For all of them, though the Lord is there, the karmic script will dictate their lives. Right? We'll understand this a little more later also. So, Krishna is now giving solutions. Krishna is not only giving problems, placing problems before Arjuna, He's also giving solutions. So he's saying, see, solution number 1. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tatprasadat param shantim sthanam prapyasi shashvatam. So he's saying surrender exclusively to the One, to the Self, to the Lord, who is within you and who is everywhere. Surrender to Him with your whole being. Whole being means body, mind, intellect, everything. Just surrender to Him, O Arjuna. Then by His grace, you will attain perfect peace and the eternal abode. What is the eternal abode? It is to be established in the self. It is to identify only with the self and not with the body, mind, and intellect. As long as I identify with the body, mind, and intellect, will I get perfect peace? Impossible. The body keeps changing, the mind keeps changing, the intellect keeps oscillating. Then where is peace? For a while, yes, small pockets. But oscillation between dualities will always be there, right? But when I identify with the self, which never changes, none of these changes will have the power to impact my inner perfect peace. So surrender. That means, Lord, everything belongs to you. You are everywhere. You are the one who is powering everything. I leave it to you. Whatever comes in my life, I receive it as your prasad, good or bad, does not matter. I will take it with contentment. I will take it with joy. Because whatever you do, it must be for my own good. Remember the story? If the sailor who got arrested, would he have felt good? He would have felt, what is this? I came to your temple and in your temple they arrested me. Because he doesn't know. Sometime later he'll get to know his ship sank and then he will say, my God, what grace. If I had not been arrested, I would have been in that ship. I too would have died. Right? So we don't know. Every single thing that comes for our ultimate good. So to have that total faith and to surrender to the Lord, that is one way. Krishna is telling Arjuna, that is one way not to let this unfolding karma to impact your inner peace. Because finally it is peace and happiness we all seek, right? That is what we want. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, look, this is one formula. Sure, it will surely work for you, but your surrender should be true, should have prasada buddhi. Then your inner peace will not get disturbed at any time. Then in the 10th chapter, there is another path. What is this? Krishna is telling Arjuna, Teshamevanukam partham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashyami atma bhavastho jnanadipena bhasvata. He says, out of compassion for seekers, for them, who are they? For seekers. I reside in their intellect and destroy the darkness born of ignorance by the bright light of lamp of knowledge. There is another path. What is that path? For some whose devotion is great, whose faith is great, it is easy to surrender. Right? It is easy to receive everything as the prasad of Bhagavan. But there are those who have gigantic intellects, who want to analyze everything, who want to question everything. Then is there no hope for them? Yes, there is hope for them. There is another path. This is the path of jnana, the path of atma vichara. So this will work for them. What is this path? Keep using your intellect. Who am I is also path of atma vichara. Question, what is your true identity? Can you be this changing body, mind, and intellect? Or are you something more permanent? What is your true nature? Keep questioning. And I am in your intellect. And I will give you the knowledge of your true self, of your true nature. Right? So these are the paths. Problems are outlined and path is also outlined by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita very clearly. So what is the karmic cycle we are talking about? Every single thing that we do, every action, when we perform an action with the body, it is a physical action. When I perform an action with the mind, it is either an emotion or a thought. When I perform an action with the intellect, it is a decision, or it is viveka, or it is analysis, or it can be holding an ideal, a goal in front of me in life. So all these are actions using the different instruments that we have. So if we collect all the sum total of the actions, then the fruit from that sum total of the action, the results, that is called sanchita karma, right? So all these past actions together, out of them what happens? A small bit comes to each lifetime. A little bit is given to each lifetime. Just like you bring a wallet, you don't bring your entire bank account, we don't carry it around, right? So we draw a little bit what we need for our expenditure, we put it in our wallet and we carry it around. So like that, a small bit of karma, a portion of it is doled out for each lifetime. So our own past actions, which is part of our sanchita karma, will decide our present life destiny. This is our prarabdha karma, which keeps on unfurling throughout our life. From the time we are born, the meter starts ticking and it goes on unfurling till we die. So that is the prarabdha karma. Now, as we are experiencing prarabdha karma, we are also initiating fresh action. I get a seat in a medical college or in an engineering college or in a college of architecture. That is my prarabdha karma. Then I join and I keep doing everything that I have to do to get my degree. That is my kriyamana karma, my present action, my response to the prarabdha karma. So as I keep experiencing my prarabdha karma, I initiate fresh action in response to it. That is my kriyamana karma. Then the result of this action, some of it I reap immediately, but some of it will go into my karmic account. That decides my fate or destiny in the future. That is called agami karma, that which is yet to come. And that is difficult for me to decide. I don't know how that will come out, the future result. I have studied hard, I have written my exam well, but will the person who values my paper, how will they value it? Will that valuer be in a good frame of mind? Will the valuer actually look through my paper and give me proper marks? Or will that valuer just be cursory and not even look at what I've written properly and just give me some minimum marks? I don't know. That is not in my hands. So there are many things, many results, part of my action, which are unpredictable and temporary. So that goes back into the sanchita karma and it will come back to me as prarabdha karma. So it is a cycle that keeps happening, repeating itself, right? So how do we experience the prarabdha karma in our life? One, through situations. Situation may be that I build a new house, or I buy a site, or somebody encroaches on my site and I lose it, or something happens to my house and I lose it. So situations will keep changing, right? That is happening from outside. So external manifestation of karma is through situations, through people who come into my life, through the things that happen in my life. But there is another software package inside that is also karmic script. What is that karmic script? That is the Vasana package. So this Vasana package will also decide how I respond, how I react to the situation. It is like a software programming. It is already installed inside. So something good comes, I'm happy. Something bad comes, I'm unhappy. So this vasanas will decide how I face life, how I respond to life, how I react to life. But it is in auto mode. As long as I keep on allowing my vasanas to decide how to react or how to respond, then I'm on auto mode. But at the same time, situations may appear ironclad. Vasanas will give you an illusion of free will. Somebody says, sir, will you take tea or coffee or juice? I have a vasana package inside. I love coffee. So I say, I will take coffee. I think I am making a choice. Out of the three, I have chosen coffee. But actually, what has chosen coffee? My coffee vasana has dictated that choice. There is an illusion of free will that I have chosen, but in actuality, the vasana is making the choice. So it is only when we can rise above vasanas and respond to any situation, that is free will. Otherwise, it is an illusion of free will. So liberation through surrender or self-inquiry. Karma at the same time is manifesting in two ways. One is through outer situations, outer relationships, outer the people who come into our lives. So everything that is happening outside this body, mind, and intellect, that is one part of the prarabdha karma. The other part of the prarabdha karma is inside. It is in the mind in the form of a script, form of the vasanas, which will always act as like, dislike, like, dislike, like, dislike. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. And if that is making every choice, it gives an illusion of free will, but actually that is not free will. Only when we rise above the vasanas, when we witness and we respond instead of reacting, that is the actual band of free will. Free will. Otherwise, it is only an appearance, only an illusion. It is a feeling of free will without actual free will. So how do you exit this cycle? Like Krishna said, liberation through surrender or self-inquiry. These are the two formulae which Ramana Maharshi also gives us. Continuously he says, either surrender to the Lord or inquire who you are. These are the two methods he gives us to exit the karmic cycle. So in this Upadesha Saram, that is another composition of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, in the very first shloka, he says, Karturajnaya prapyate phalam karma kim param karma tajjadam. So he's saying, Karturajnaya, by the will of the Creator, Kartuhu, prapyate phalam, your action will bear fruit. Remember what Krishna said? The Lord is there in your heart. But as long as you think you are the body, you are riding the Maya machine, which is the body, then what happens? Only your own karmic script will keep unfolding. And the Lord in your heart will power you to live life according to your prarabdha. From outside situations unfurl, from inside your vasana package is dictating, giving you an illusion of free will, but actually it is ironclad. As long as you are following the karmic script, react, 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 react using your vasanas, you are not using your free will. Ironclad destiny is active. So if you think, Karturagniya, God is giving me this, therefore I surrender to the Lord. Oh God, you are deciding how my action will bear fruit, therefore I leave it to you. Give me whatever you give me is for my own good, I leave it to you. Karturagnyaya prapyate phalam. The first line says, if you think the Lord is giving the fruits, He is deciding the fruits of your action, then surrender. Karma kim param karma tajjadam. Karma here is action. If you are thinking action is the most important thing, then question, is the action the most important thing? Or is your response to everything that happens, is that more important? Is doing something more important, or how you respond to something which will decide your action, is that more important? If I'm panic stricken, I may decide wrong things, I may do wrong things, right? But if I'm peaceful, I'm witnessing, then the right decisions may come to me. Not through my vasanas, but by rising above my vasanas, by witnessing. Karma tajjadam, by itself, action is inert. Remember, the self is powering your body, mind, and intellect. You are not doing any action. Body, mind, and intellect are carrying out the action, but it is powered by the self, powered by consciousness, powered by God. That is the true doing energy, is from the self. So find out who is the true doer. Ask, who am I? Then that is the path of self-enquiry. So Bhagwan is also giving us the same formula. I just want to share this incident with you. You may know it, but it's a very powerful incident for me always. It inspires me. So when Ramana Maharshi, when he was 16, he had this experience of enlightenment. He understood his true nature. I will not go into that experience. He had this big fear of death. Very healthy boy, nothing is wrong with him, but he suddenly felt, I'm going to die. So he lay down on the floor and then he said, now this body is dead. He held his breath and he said, it cannot breathe. It is stiff. Rigor mortis has set into this body. It will be taken to the crematorium and it will be burnt. But am I dead? Am I still not existing? And then in a flash, he understood his true nature. He understood, I am not the body, mind, and intellect. I am the immortal, eternal self, which is existence, consciousness, bliss. And his journey was over. He was enlightened, but he is still a boy of 16. So, yeah, after a few weeks, he left. He was in Madurai. He was living with his uncle. He left his uncle's house. He just left a small note saying, this, he could no longer say I. This is going to his father's house. No money or effort need to be spent in searching for this. And he could not sign his name also because there was no longer any individual entity there. So he just drew a blank line. And he came to Tiruvannamalai. And he settled down in Tiruvannamalai. And he stayed there for 50 years, teaching the path of self-enquiry, teaching the path of surrender. He was there. So the first 3 years, he was so deep, he was still getting used to the bliss of enlightenment. He was bliss. And it was so blissful, he didn't feel like talking. He says, I was aware all the time. Whatever was happening outside, I was aware. People would come and talk to me. People would come and ask me things. I didn't feel like talking, so I just kept quiet. And then people started assuming, oh, this wonderful boy, this young saint, he is a Mauna Vrata. He's following Mauna Vrata. I didn't bother to correct them, he says. I was intoxicated with the bliss. I just wanted to be. So people assumed that he's under Mauna Vrata. He was not talking. About 3 years later, after he was like this, his family heard of him. And his mother came and she sees the boy before her is her Venkatraman, his name was Venkatraman at birth, and yet he is not her Venkatraman. His body is emaciated. He hardly used to bother to eat. He wouldn't bother to bathe. It is all dirt encrusted. He's just wearing one loin cloth. His hair is grown into a jata. His fingernails are so long. And she's heartbroken. My boy, my child, he's here in this kind of state. Who is taking care of him? What will happen to him? And she says, come back. You can do whatever you like. We will not interfere with your life, but we'll take care of you. We'll give you food. We'll give you facilities. You can stay there in Madurai. You can meet people. You can do whatever you like. You can meditate. Please come away with me. And she's weeping. Bhagwan says, my heart was melting. But if I gave her any hope, I knew that I would never be able to go back with her. If I spoke to her, if I was tender towards her, then she would hope. I didn't want to give her any false hope. So I sat like a stone statue, not talking. So 3 days, Alagamma, his mother, she came and again and again and again she entreated Bhagwan, please come back, please come back. And all the people who were there, he had some devotees who were sitting around. They also felt bad. This lady is feeling so, she's begging him. Then why is he not talking? So finally, one of the people sitting there, he said, Bhagwan, it's all right if you don't want to talk. Why don't you write? Why don't you write a reply for your mother? At least she will know. She will get an answer. So a pen and paper were given to Bhagwan. And this is what he wrote. He said, the ordainer controls the fate of souls in accordance with their prarabdha karma. Whatever is destined not to happen will not happen. Try as you may. Whatever is destined to happen will happen. Do what you may to prevent it. This is certain. The best course, therefore, is to remain silent. So at that time, everybody thought this is an answer, direct answer to the mother's question. And it was. He's telling his mother, don't force me, I will not come. My destiny is here in Tiruvannamalai. I will stay here. I will stay at Arunachala. I will guide people. I cannot come. Later in life, his mother came and lived with him there in Tiruvannamalai for 8 years till she passed away. That is another story. Maybe we'll look at it some other time. But now this was the reply he gave his mother. But in the context of karma, how does this answer? This is a great answer also. So he is saying, yes, prarabdha karma outside, we don't always have control over what happens, right? We don't know what is ironclad and what is not. Whatever happens outside will keep happening. And inside there is a vasana package that will also keep dictating. It makes your life very turbulent. Up and down, up and down, up and down. It is because of your vasana package, not just because of life. It is because you are constantly reacting. Something bad happens. Oh my God, why did this happen to me? Something good happens. Oh wow. Right? Up and down, up and down, up and down. It is your vasanas that are making this, creating this turbulence for you. So what can you do? The best course is to remain silent, not externally silent, but inside. Instead of reacting, instead of allowing your vasanas to decide how you will act, is it possible to just be a witness, to be quiet, to be peaceful? Allow things to happen, and the right decisions will come to you. It will come to you from higher consciousness, from the self with which you are identifying. It will come. The universal cosmic script, the script of the creator will get enacted. instead of your own individual script decided by the vasanas inside. Go beyond the karmic programming, transcend it. Be silent inside. Don't allow yourself to oscillate between joy and sorrow, between boredom and excitement, between doubt and confusion. Stay as the self, stay as the witness, and that will bring the right actions into your life. That is the only place where you have free will, Bhagavan is saying. You have free will either to react through your vasana package or to rise above your vasanas and remain in the zone of silence. That is the true choice. Everybody has that choice. Then whatever happens outside will never affect your inner peace, never affect the bliss within. You will always be equanimous. So, a small incident or an example, Echammal. The best thing therefore is to remain silent, just to understand how that was. Echammal was also a very, very ardent devotee of Bhagavan. Before she came to Bhagavan, she lived in a, excuse me, she lived in a nearby village and with her husband, 2 daughters and a son. Various things happened, and within a span of a few weeks, her husband passed away, her son passed away, 1 daughter passed away. Is that shattering? Absolutely right. She was shattered. So she went back to her own hometown. She and her daughter, 1 remaining daughter. And somehow she was trying, maybe I can find internal peace somehow. As this was going on, that remaining daughter also passed away. Just within a few months, her entire family is gone. She is alone. So people tell her, go for Tirtha Yatras, it will bring you peace. Follow Ashtanga Yoga, it will bring you peace. She's doing everything people say she does sincerely, but it does not bring her peace. Then one day somebody says, there is a great sage, Ramana Maharshi, a very young boy, he's there in Tiruvannamalai. Go there, and he doesn't talk much, but his grace may help you. So she goes to Tiruvannamalai. At that time, Bhagwan is living in a cave on top of Arunachala. So she climbs up the steps and she goes. Bhagwan is sitting there and Echammal stands in front of him. Her heart is full of grief, full of sorrow. No matter what she has done, she's not been able to get rid of that burden of sorrow. And she's standing there in front of Bhagwan. She stands there for about an hour. Tears are simply streaming down her face. She's standing there. She's not talking. She can't talk. It's too deep for her to say anything. And Bhagwan is just gazing at her. And tears are also streaming down from his eyes. He also doesn't speak. They stay like that, 1 hour. She's standing there. Bhagwan is sitting there, gazing at her. Both copiously tears are falling from the eyes of both of them. After about an hour, suddenly Echammal sees not even a small vestige of sorrow is left. It is gone. Silent witnessing, rising above the vasana package. The whole thing is gone. In the presence of the grace of Bhagavan. It disappeared. Never to come back. It's gone. And she felt so light as air. Still she hasn't talked. Still Bhagavan hasn't talked. She just does namaskaram, and she comes back down the hill. And as she's coming back, she thinks, I want to feed this wonderful Rishi every single day of my life. And she stays in Tiruvannamalai. She's not a rich person. She's very poor. She would buy a little bit of till every day, squeeze oil out of it, sell that oil, earn some money, cook a meal and take it up to the cave. Not just for Bhagwan, because Bhagwan will not eat alone. Whoever else is there, he shares the food equally with everybody. So she cooks for him and his devotees every day till the last day of her life. She lived to be in her 90s. She was continuously cooking for Bhagwan every single day of her life. So just by rising above the Vasana package, by witnessing, she was able to drop her great burden of sorrow. So this is how we have this bandwidth. The bandwidth is, do we respond through the internal programming or vasanas to life, in which case there is an illusion of free will, there is an illusion of destiny. Some situations are changeable, some are not changeable. We feel we are making a choice, we feel we made the right choice, we feel we made the wrong choice, we feel we made an unimportant choice or an important choice, but we feel we are choosing. But actually the vasanas are dictating the choice. So there is no free will there. Outside there is no free will, inside there is no free will. There is an illusion of free will. Bhagwan says, become the silent witness. Rise above your vasanas. Either you can surrender, you can do that by surrendering to the divine. Bhoktritva, kartritva. I am not the doer. Everything is happening because of God's will. God is powering this body, mind, and intellect, and actions are happening. Therefore, I am not the doer. And I have no control over results. God gives me the results and I accept it as His prasada. I am happy with whatever comes because it is for my own good. I have that faith. That is the path of surrender. That will also take us to our true knowledge of the self, which will help us to exit this karmic cycle. The other one is to be a witness. How to be a witness? For whom is this sorrow? For whom is this joy? For whom is the doubt? Who am I? And to just stay poised in that silence of the mind, to witness what is happening, but not to participate in the vasanas, to respond to life instead of reacting to life. That is true free will. So this is what Bhagwan has told us. And let us offer our pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi for his wonderful wisdom. Close your eyes for a moment. May his grace and blessings, may the grace and blessings of all divine masters who have exited this karmic cycle, who have established themselves in the self, may their grace always be with us and establish us also in the self. Thank you for your patient listening.